Hi guys, it's Alyssa and welcome back to my channel, The Divine Venus. Let's talk about Saturn retrograde that's happening May 11th, whether you wanted to or not. Because it's going to happen. Okay, so Saturn is going retrograde May 11th and it will go back into its direct state September 29th of this year, okay? And during that time, it is going to be in two signs, Aquarius to Capricorn. Now, Saturn has been in Aquarius since March. And during that time, what we've seen is complete restrictions on groups, which is at its basic, simplest level. Aquarius is groups, Saturn's restrictions, restricting groups. So we're getting back now into this energy that's going to alleviate that restriction for some time. And I think it's really important right now to just kind of understand what this energy wants, because Saturn itself is like a father that just wants the best for its kid. And whether or not you feel good about Saturn, Saturn really loves you with the love that it can give you, because it's not the planet of love. But Saturn isn't as bad as people say. In fact, Saturn pretty much wants to align you with what you're good at. And whatever sign it's in is kind of pinpointing that energy. So if you looked at what happened when Saturn was in Capricorn the last couple years, we started to kind of see the powers that be unravel, start to really understand what's going on, because Capricorn are these systems in place. And at the same time, I saw this happen, which was weird. Feminine energy and spirituality rose like a gold rush because women were also coming into their power. And where was that? I mean, freaking on YouTube, every woman seemed to all of a sudden be like, wait, I can do this. This is something I'm super good at, because women were coming into their crone energy from finally being free to move forward in their divine feminine energy, which is crazy because it's not something that I don't think anyone saw that Saturn and Capricorn was going to do, but finally it allowed that. It relieved the restrictions on feminine energy because it attacked what was controlling it. The patriarchy, etc., that kind of thing. So here we are now. There's a whole community of spiritual women that has grown. At the same time, a lot of masculine energy has sort of fallen, or at least been revealed and unveiled. But that's still happening. That's not over yet. Starting in July, the beginning of July, Saturn's going to go back into Capricorn. And that's going to be happening again. But this time we'll see what happens. And what I do, and when I say the prediction is for this energy, is that feminine energy ruling spirituality will take over and skyrocket. Not just because I'm in this YouTube community that happens to be a spiritual community, because I'm telling you that this energy that is built right now is the ground floor of what will happen in Saturn and Aquarius. But first, it has to completely establish itself, and that's what will be happening. The groundwork for this divine feminine energy will be laid out when Saturn goes back into Capricorn in July. That's when it will be starting. And when Saturn goes direct in Capricorn, it's on like Donkey Kong, okay? So just be aware of that. It's happening. And the reason why is that the biggest power that rules the earth is feminine energy. Capricorn is a feminine sign. People forget that. Women rule the earth because they rule spirituality. That's not me being a crazy feminist. That's just me understanding the energies of the world. Okay, so say Saturn is going to go do that. But we had a little drop off when Saturn went into Aquarius. And why was that? Why did Saturn back itself into Aquarius only to back away from it again? Well, one, as soon as Saturn went to Aquarius, again, restrictions on groups. That was really fun, wasn't it? As the father figure here, Saturn really wanted you to know, hey, you need to find out what your purpose is. A lot of people, which I did not predict this and I didn't even realize until it was happening, was that imposter syndrome comes from Saturn and Aquarius. Because you see, Aquarius wants everybody to be in their power. Everybody to be, on an even playing field in their specialness, working together in their specialness. But what has happened is that no one's in their specialness. So you're doing something, you're like, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm not. And when Saturn went into Aquarius, it was a big am I supposed to be doing this? Is this my life? Is this my life? You're really looking at it. You can't talk to people. You can't play off each other. You can't do any of this stuff. You're just am I really enjoying who I've become? Am I allowing this to take over my life? Am I going to die in this energy? And Saturn in Aquarius is just force feeding that to you. Now, when Saturn goes retrograde, that kind of thing will dissolve. Saturn sort of acts like Neptune. When it goes retrograde, it starts dissolving things. It also feels like you're trudging through mud, like you're unable to build up anything. All of that power you want to build up is going to feel like, I'm not building anything. But you will stop feeling like an imposter or a fraud. You might start feeling like, okay, I am in my energy. I know this now. I know what my energy is because I was forced to look at myself in the mirror and actually see that for like the good that it is. But now what do I do with it? And that's going to be a little bit, I think, scary for people, but not because you should be afraid. But sometimes when there's an unknown situation coming and we know that Saturn's moving back into Capricorn, we know we're going back into old energy, that's kind of scary because if you think about it, going back into a place where Saturn just was and it finally left is like taking the shit and shoving it back up your ass. I'm really sorry, that was gross, but that's what it feels like. So there's a fear there, like an instinctual, like, I don't want it to go back there. Like, I don't want that. And it's gonna happen. So I think it's really important for you to really feel your emotions, feel that fear out and be like, you know what? I don't have to be afraid. I'm fine. This is what needs to happen and it's good. Because once this happens, the world is going to start changing for the better. It's shown us a little bit of what can happen when people are left to their own devices and their own power, but it's going to get into a position where people can finally live in that power. We just have to fix some things. So July, Saturn goes back into Capricorn. It will still be retrograde until September 29th. All of that energy right there, that retrograde Saturn in Capricorn, after we get this retrograde Saturn in Aquarius. Let me actually rephrase that. Saturn in Aquarius energy, retrograde, is going to feel a little bit like we have some good, like there is no king. Like the king is dead. If the king is dead, it's the season of the witch. It's the season of the woman, the queen. The king dies, the queen lives. We'll know that. We won't have a leader because even though the queen lives and the king died, we don't know the queen. We don't know who she is. We don't know what that energy looks like. We're so used to serving the king. What does it look like when the queen enters? How can we share the kingdom if we don't know the rules? And we'll be figuring that out and trying to establish some rules. But then as soon as Saturn goes back into Capricorn, this is when it's going to go into this place of trying to figure out your home. I think people are going to be missing their home. I think people will have to go back to work and there'll be a lot of people who just feel like they can't even feel the way that they used to feel. And they're going to be missing a piece of themselves that they found during Saturn in Aquarius. But it's important to be missing that piece. It's important to rebuild some things and to allow the challenge and allow that energy in the tower to have to build up. And at least, if you can, right now, try to focus on what you physically want to do when Saturn goes into Capricorn. Because if you can at least be aware of it, that's what you can be building. And you can have happiness during this time that feels a little bit redundant, a little bit of something we've already done. But you have to do it differently. And that's the karma of this energy. You got to experience a little bit of what the new world will look like. Not everything. It's still messed up. It was still a cesspool. It was still confusing. There was still sadness and hardships and death and destruction. But on the other side of it, there was a new hope in a way. Something different in the world. That apocalypse that people have been waiting for finally happened. So what next? That journey back into rebuilding your own life is the most important thing. Not just rebuilding society, but starting from within you to rebuild what you want. If you have started different things, if you've kind of like grown a piece of yourself, you'll be able to build off of that during the Saturn Capricorn energy. But first, that little area in the summer, because it's retrograde, it's a little bit of disillusionment in the idea of what makes you warm and what makes you nurtured and what makes you feel good. And I think there's going to be a piece of us that really is like, this sucks. I hate this. Like, I hate this work. This kind of work isn't good. And so it's important to be in your power during that time. After that, Saturn's direct until December 17th, and then it's going to go back into Aquarius. And on December 22nd or 23rd, 22nd, Jupiter will be in Aquarius. And that is going to be some entertaining energy where Saturn and Jupiter meet each other, restricting Jupiter's ability to expand, but also Jupiter putting blessings on this Saturn to get to a point where we can finally start off this Aquarian energy in a better way than we did before. Because you see, when Saturn just went into Aquarius on its own, it was a big, shot to our heart, restricting our breathing. We couldn't do anything. And then now, like, when it goes back again, Jupiter will be there to be like, no, it's okay. It's not going to be as bad as it was last time. You've already gone through this part. Now, are you still an imposter? Are you still a fraud? Do you know yourself? Are you in your own specialness? Are you okay with your direction in life? Because if you are, again, it's on like Donkey Kong. Did I already say that? Because it really is. I just keep saying, like, there's certain places where this is going to be on like Donkey Kong for you. So being in your feminine energy, whether you're a man or a woman, is all about being in your creative energy. Being in the energy from within you and not from accepting it from without the outside of you. Instead of taking in energy this way, you're giving energy to the world that way. And if your energy is pure and it's good and has good intentions, it will be rewarded after this retrograde. You might find that it is hard to reward it now. You might be waiting for the rewards, but I'm telling you, it's not like things are getting worse or something like that. I don't feel that. I just feel like that glory you might want for the things that you did, it might not be what you expected. And you might have to put a little bit more work into it. And you might be like, shit, this was supposed to be my year. I felt that, but now it's not. Well, obviously, I don't think anyone maybe felt it's supposed to be their year. I felt like it was supposed to be my year. I was like, this is gonna be my year. And so now, like, I have the grayest roots in the world, but it's sort of a thing, right? It's sort of in style. I'm so old, guys. Okay, so really that's just what's going to be happening. And I wanted to kind of give that to you. I don't want to put too much information in this because I want it to be more focused. If you can focus in on your true purpose and your true calling and trying to add work to that, like to challenge yourself to keep that alive, you will survive this with flying colors. It is important, and to be working on things with people. When Saturn is out of Aquarius, you can collaborate, but make sure you're collaborating with people who are like-minded, people who have the same energy as you, who are in their power like you are. Don't collab with people beneath you. And I'm not just talking about like YouTube collabing or whatever. I'm talking about like going to work and having to be next to somebody that you don't like, and having to work with that energy. It's like, keep your distance from people energetically, because what's going to happen is they're going to try to remesh and to get us back into old world energy. And we don't need that. We need to progress. We need to get into the Age of Aquarius. Watch my Age of Aquarius video, because this is what I'm talking about. Dude, I'm making you watch all my videos. Okay, watch my Gemini North Node video, watch my Venus retrograde video, watch my Saturn and Aquarius video, and watch my Age of Aquarius video, and watch this one. Okay, that's all I have to say. I don't know, I'm like weird energy right now, but I will talk to you all later. Thank you, bye.